Hello guys, my name is Michael, and today we are going to talk about another object, this time again, not about a widget. But before we proceed, I want to show you something. Do you remember when we were creating our spin button? Well, to use it, we had made a possible way to create it. One of them was setting him up with an adjustment, and here we had those examples how we can set the adjustment which we were creating. So basically, if we wanted to set a value to something, we had before to set the upper to 100. Once that we had it, then we could set basically value to some value in between lower and upper. So this means I can go to 0 and then up away to 100 and so on. So basically this GTK spin button was working with an adjustment. Next thing, GTK spin button. Next thing, we saw that the spin button we could create it basically with two functions. The first one was GTK spin new, where the adjustment was need, you see, and the second one was GTK spin button new with range, this one right here. And if you remember, when we set with range, we didn't have an object or something here to pass like GTKRange or something. We had only three arguments: G double, min, max, and step. Now we are coming to a new widget in the next coming tutorials, and one of them, it is called GTK scale, and this widget, which looks like this, it is a widget which basically you can create it again with the same story, with the help of GTK scale new, which needs an adjustment, the same how GTK spin button needed. And of course, again, we can create this widget, GTK spin widget, which is this one, horizontal or vertical. We can create it with this function, which again, as you can see, it takes 4 parameters, one more than spin button. It is about orientation, to set it horizontal or vertical. And as you can see here, the same story, we have no argument or something similar called GTKRange. So this means how and what's the story with this range? Well, if we go up here where GTK scale is, we can check the object hierarchy, and as you can see here, we do have something called GTKRange. If we go inside this object, we can see that GtkRange is actually the base class for widgets which visualize an adjustment. Okay, so that being said, in this case this one are, as you can see, scale and scroll bar. So its description says GtkRange is the common base class for widgets which visualize an adjustment, for example a scale or a scroll bar, apart from signals for monitoring the parameters of the adjustment. Apart from signals for monitoring the parameters of the adjustment. This is very important. Even when you work with spin button with scale, so in this example you still have adjustments, whether you create it with a adjustment or with a range. So basically these functions which you can use here are functions which they are working on the same way how they were working when we were creating GTK spin button. But this time this is a special object. We cannot create something like GtkRange new. So it is somehow too complicated just to create let's say a console application or already application where I can set something just to show you how it works in the same way how we did here. Because here, if you remember, I said if you need to work with a spin button, you need to understand the adjustment. If you understand the adjustment, you need to know how to work with them. So basically in that intro I was if I can call it, I was putting both the adjustment, which are these ones here, and the spin button, which is down here, and together I showed you a way how you can work with adjustment on this spin button. Today now we are not going to do this. I'm not going to create a program where I can show you how you work with a spin button based on some GTKRange adjustments let's say properties, because it is not the case. But I want to tell you that this kind of function which we see here, which there are quite a lot, we are going to go through these functions, and we'll see what this function does, because they are functions which you need to understand them and how they are working. And the best thing to do is when we are creating our spin button or scroll bars, the scale or the scroll bar widgets, we are going to work with their functions, properties, styles, and signals. And once that we are done with every one of those, we are going to work also. You will see that we are going to work also with these functions too, with these properties as well, and of course style properties which you can use them, and signals and so on. So this is very important. What I want to know is that I want to explain before we move what's the story with GtkRange. And don't be afraid, it is nothing so special. It is just another way of working with GTK adjustment. But the range itself sets the adjustment, so works with adjustment, of course. So the value here which you have, it is the value of your scale, which is the same value of the adjustment, and so on. And you will see that is not that complicated, even when you see there are so many functions here. The more important thing which you need to know is only the object hierarchy, which is very important. But we are going to talk about this too. Now that you know how and what's the story with this range, I think it's enough with the theory, and we are going to move in the next videos with GTK scale and spin and scroll bars, and there we are going to use a lot of these functions one after other, and then you will see what's the story with GTKRange. Okay, so that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you like it, please subscribe, share with your friends and neighbors, and until next time, see you guys.